yeah, that was the thing about like being in like any town that has like such old history, which obviously that's a lot of them, but like right here, you know, these are obviously a lot of new buildings. However, the ground keeps it, you know, so I can feel it. But it was always hard for me to be in like Alton, to be in Old Town St. Charles, before I knew what I did. And that was because I had so much energy coming at me and I wasn't grounded. And but it's crazy what you can get from things. And not just like, I don't know, even like holding things. Like I can, you know, I don't know, it's crazy. What do they call that?
That's a psychic ability. It's like
psychometry.
Yeah, I forget that. I need to learn this word, but yeah, it's like reading the history of objects just by holding them, because everything has an energetic signature, and then you can store that. And they talk about the akashic record. Some people say that it's actually held in certain layers of rocks and stones in the earth. That information is there. Well, just look at like, what is it, a crystal radio, or these type of crystal. Well, no,
so
just
record keepers.
The information
stones.
is yeah. Well, that's another thing too. But you just look at a crystal radio, right? Back in the day, there these little crystal radios. You listen to the radio. There was no power or battery. It was just this crystal, and you tuned into the radio like we listen to today. You know, it's all those crystals are in our electronics.
Well, that's how computers
Yeah, exactly.
are on quartz. Like there's a
Quartz,
bunch of little quartz crystals
and here
in there.
too.
Yeah.
So it can turn frequency into electricity and electricity into frequency. I think it's piezoelectric effect or whatever. And then storing information as well. So,
yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting. I remember when I was doing one of my Reiki attunements, John liked to pass around like, you know, crystals, or he had some like old wood pieces and stuff like that. And he'd pass them around and just kind of ask what you would get from it. And that was, you know, I can't remember, I think it was a piece of driftwood or something. But I kept feeling, or no, I'm sorry, it was like a rock. It was it ended up being part of a fire pit. And so like when I was holding it, I can remember seeing like all the people like around it, and I felt like very like Native American. And then sure enough, when he went to tell the story, it was part of, you know, an old fire pit. So, and stuff like that, but people don't trust what they get or what they hear.
Well, we're so concerned about other people's judgments and what they might say, or, you know, how we might appear to other people. So, I mean, even if it, you know, it's valid for you, you know, it's even if it's not, it's your own. Every experience is valid, even if it's not, if somebody else, if not a lot of people can relate to it or something, or, you know.
Well, the thing is like with what, you know, the whole like spiritual gifts thing, they want everyone to access their power. And in order to do that, you know, I have to share, you know, my stories. You have to share your stories.
It's a way shower, they call it.
Yeah. Basically, you know, because honestly, even the ladies behind us, the more that they believed in what they could do or the messages they get about people they interact with on a daily basis, I bet it would save them a lot of hurt, you know, throughout life.
And that brings up the topic of courage too, because, well, one thing, you know, having your power taken away is just teaching you how to take your power back. And
hopefully,
right. Well, you're gonna keep getting in situations until you learn to reclaim power. And then the courage is so important with this thing going on too. I see so many people in fear, right? So blessings of health and courage and kindness, because that's another thing I learned with this mass thing. The people that are like us, or maybe a little more righteous and with this mass, you know, and rebellious or whatever, that's teaching me kindness towards other people, being kind and respectable for how they are. And then the other people that are wearing the mask, that's teaching them for courage, be more courageous about, hey, you know, I'm still subject to sickness. I haven't gone beyond sickness. I need to be more courageous about living life here. I can't live in fear my whole life, you know?
Yeah. Well, and the thing though too, like what is really hard, you know, for everyone to get is that not everyone is going to get it this life.
Yes. Yep.
You know, and it's just all about like holding space and being respectful and kind towards everyone, and just
kindness above everything.
Yeah, kindness above everything, really, because that's what matters.
Especially to ourselves, right?
Well, especially to ourselves, because we can't. If
How
we're
can we
not
be
kind to ourselves,
we
we can't do that for anyone else.
Same way with self-love, yeah.
And then, you know, like you project, we project when we're in a negative space.
A lot of times unconsciously.
And so, and I shouldn't say we project when we're in a negative space. We just project, period.
Yes.
And so it's much better to project positivity and kindness and, you know, love than it is any of the other things. So.
Yes. Especially in the way we are now. Eventually we can be more neutral, right? But there's so much positivity is needed now just because of the state of way things are to balance things out a little bit.
Well, and I think honestly, like the neutral or the neutrality, that I don't even think eventually when all this shakes out, like there's gonna be like I don't know, and I know it's kind of like rose-colored glasses, but I do really feel that, you know, when the shift happens, that it's going to be more kindness, positivity, respect.
You know, actually, though, I think we're in a shift, and I think that is more quote-unquote neutral because that's kind of our more natural state, just having regular kindness and that. I would say, when we're at that point, I would think positivity would be something like being in like euphoric bliss states. That would be like the positive then, which that is so super rare now. You know, it's still positive now, but it's so super rare.
Well, but I mean,
just common human kindness and decency and eye contact and smiling. Oh yeah, obviously.
Well, smiling.
Yeah.
You can't even see smiles now.
I know.
But maybe that's one way.
Natural.
Maybe that's one way for us to really tune into energy.
Oh, it is.
Because you can't see this now. And so now you almost have to go with how you feel around them. You know, I mean, yeah, you can see like smiling eyes and not smiling eyes. You can read a lot. Well, that's true. That's true. So then you have to get more in tune with the energy.
Yes. Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And so maybe in one way, like that's kind of what the universe is trying to do, is to help people tune in more. Because honestly, if I were to blindfold you and to put you in a room, you're gonna, and I'm like,
I'm not into
good
that,
luck.
Sarah.
What's that?
I'm not into that, Sarah.
No, yeah. But if I were to blindfold you and put you in a room and like have you find your way out, you would eventually have to tune your senses into navigating where these things are. And so that's really what I feel like is happening right now is, you know, we're being made to navigate how, because I mean, I have, you know, like, yes, I have a mask in my car. There's stores that I go into that I wear them. You know, I try to be respectful in that sense if I'm somewhere that I know, like, I have to. I don't go in, you know, without. Yeah, see? What is yours? Just a little cut-off sleeve?
I've got to be different, you know, so.
There you go. You're like, I'm going to spend a lot of money on this. Oh, shoot, I don't have my mask. I'll just, does this work? But yeah, so, and that's what I really think, like, if we could really be more in tune with ourselves and how we feel out in the world, we would be amazed at, like, what we'd find out and what we'd learn.
This is so many layers to this. I mean, we just keep uncovering so many layers. This is great. That crossed my mind too about having energetic sensitivity training because you don't have much to go. It's just like a silent retreat. So if you're in noble silence on a retreat and you can't talk to somebody, well then the nonverbal communication is going to be amped up. So you're really into it because you can't speak. So the body language and body gestures are just like amplified because you need that information to communicate if you can't talk, right? So it's an interesting experience.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know, it's crazy, but I think that's what That's just kind of what, it actually just came to me.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, we're talking about, about St. Louis occult symbology. You know, I have to look this up because I forget what the fleur-de-lis.
Mm-hmm.
You know that symbol? It was on his mask.
Yeah.
Too, but I think it's like the symbol of St. Louis. I know it's a French symbol too.
Right. I was gonna say, is it SLU?
Yes, SLU, and then it's also, I think it's in Tower Grove Park.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly 100% sure, but it's around St. Louis, maybe on the flag and whatnot. Yeah, and I want to say it's like a flower or something too, or maybe fleur-de-lis. So, but there's a symbol of that, and then also when I was getting on, pulling on Olive off of 270, there was on the post, it's a fleur-de-lis, but it was above like a broken heart symbol.
It's on the flag of St. Louis too.
Yes, that's what. Yeah, I just said that. Yep.
Yeah.
But there's a heart. It was a broken heart, and this was above the broken heart. And then in Francis Park, on one side of the fountain, there's a throne, an actual like throne seat made artistic. Top of one side is fleur-de-lis. On top of the other throne on the other side is a heart. So it's like these opposing symbols. And then, in the middle of the fountain, they put in a new fish. It's up out of the water, and it has water out of its mouth. So this is how I interpreted that. Well, you're either on one side or the other. You're either on the fleur-de-lis or the heart. Mm-hmm. But if you don't want to do that and you want to be in the middle, well, then you're a fish out of water.
Just I'm trying to see like what it says about it, but
I think it's like a sexual symbol, because of the flower thing. But who else used that? I think was it Easter Seals? Is that an organization that used it? There's a lot of different people that use that symbol. I know New Orleans. It's a big symbol in New Orleans too.
It's a Scouts symbol.
Mm-hmm. That too. Yep. Boy Scout.
So they say in building and architecture, the fleur-de-lis is often used on top of iron fence posts as a sharp defense against dangerous intruders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like defending, and then the heart is kind of like opening, right?
The Gnostic warrior.
Yeah, no. I've heard of that site too. And then
blood. It's the bloodline of the Blessed Trinity.
Because it's a 3-part symbol, right?
So yeah, in French, it literally means lily flower.
Oh yeah, lily.
However, when it's on flags or engraved on royal crowns, it does not represent the lily flower, but the Trinity of the Brotherhood. For it is an emblem of a bloodline of divine majesty and the symbol of a particular royal brotherhood that had originated long before the foundation of Rome.
Well, what brotherhood? Why don't they say it by name? Because, see, the left and right-wing brotherhoods are, you get the left-hand path and the right-hand path of these different brotherhoods, as secret societies because that's what they say is at the top of the food chain on Earth is the secret societies,
Yeah, it's almost saying like it stands for Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
Huh. Or the Trinity in the Bible too.
There's a lot to read here.
Yes, we'll get to look at it later, but then you can use your own guidance too.
Yeah.
The other symbol that's in Tower Grove Park reminds me of this table here, except this table is different. The X-Men, the cross or the X in a circle, but here they don't have the X inside of it. But in Tower Grove Park, they have this, and then they have the X in the middle. So what some people say is that is the mark of the beast in Revelations, is a circle with an X through it. Yeah. But that's also in some of the other occult books and stuff. That symbol's in there for more of the darker stuff.
Like anything that you watch anymore. It's crazy. All of the symbolism that's in.
Yep. And then you look
all
at
the Disney movies.
Yeah, that's great. Well, even just the corporate logos, they break those down too. There's like some general themes in a lot of the corporate logos, like the wings, a lot of Saturn symbology. They talk about the Saturn control matrix, and there's this hexagon on the North Pole of Saturn or something, or maybe it's the South Pole. But they talk about Saturn moon lineages and how certain things are like crazy stuff, like energies harvested from, or negative energies harvested from here and transferred to Saturn for the off-world beings that feed on it and stuff. Because they talk just about anything here on Earth. If there's a source of food, then something's going to eat on it, right? Even if down in the ocean floor where it's all acidic that nothing can live, there's still one organism that thrives there because they've learned how to
survive,
feed and thrive off of that when nothing else can.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, that's the thing though, like
that loosh is
something adapts
our negative
to
energy. Exactly. That some being that we can't see in the unseen world is feeding off of negative energy.
Right.
That's their food source. So it's in their best interest to cause chaos and all that stuff for that loosh, they call it, right?
Yeah. So. I mean, it makes sense. It makes
on one level it does. On another one, it's completely crazy.
But I guess it depends on what level you're on.